Hi, this is our new Kyvol E30 robot vacuum. So you can get it for like 200 bucks on Amazon. There's another version that it's E30 for 250. You may want to consider that version because it actually maps your room and remembers where it's going and does a better, I would think, a more efficient job of cleaning. But the E20 is pretty good. We have had this since this weekend. Today is Thursday, so we've had it about 4 or 5 days, and it's been running. It does a very good job, surprisingly, even though it's just randomly cleaning and not memorizing the room. You do have a nice remote control that comes with it and allows you to direct it when it gets stuck. But for the most part, it doesn't get stuck, and it senses and does a really good job. If you have 3 small kids like I do, they have to relatively keep the floors clean in order for the robot to work. You can't have shoes laying everywhere because if it bumps into stuff, it's going to turn. But we vacuumed our floors and we vacuumed them pretty regularly, and we vacuumed before we even ran this, and I'm amazed at the amount of dirt it still picks up, so it does a really good job. And it goes easily over hardwood floors, over thresholds, and the carpets. And it runs for about 90 minutes when it runs, and it heads back when the battery gets low to the charger and goes from there. It's relatively quiet, as you can hear. It's not horribly loud. It can be a little distracting sometimes when you're on the telephone, but compared to some of the other ones that I've seen at neighbors' houses, I think it's pretty quiet. It seems to be pretty well made. It's got a glass top. It's not plastic, so I do like that. I'm amazed at how much dust the thing picks up being black. When it goes, because it easily does go under furniture. Of course, not under a bar stool, but it does do a really good job of picking up dirt. Picks up small, any large items, trash, you're definitely gonna have to pick up. But like my kids ate peanuts last night and left shells everywhere. It picked them up no problem, and some of them are pretty large. But because it's the E20 and it's not mapping the room, each time it runs, it may hit a different area. Because that's why you kind of basically need to run it, I would say, almost every single night if you're doing a random situation. If you had it mapping the room and it was running and completing a full cycle in 90 minutes, you probably do not need to run it every day. You probably could run it, a couple times a week. We pretty much have ours come on usually around 10 a.m. each morning. On the weekends, I usually run it at night. But so far, we're very pleased with it. You can connect it through Alexa, through your skills, and talk to Alexa and tell it to start. You also can get an app, and you can operate it on your phone. You also have the nice remote control. The remote control is nice because it's a lot easier to use than the app or trying to manipulate it through the app. But if you're looking for a nice little robot vacuum, this is a pretty good one. I'm going to show you how much it's collected. Like it just ran a little while ago, I'm just rerunning it now to show you how it operates and how it kind of randomly goes everywhere. So let's just pause it as it attacks some shoes. See the amount of dust. I was going to stop it, but then the app needed to be updated, so I've got to do that first. But I'm just showing you how it goes over carpet and hardwood floors. It does pretty good. I'm shocked. I'm scared to run upstairs and see how much it's going to pick up, and the kids are in. The kids have too much junk on the floor. Let's see if I can get you to stop. Alright. If you flip her over, as I break it, get these little beater brushes that help, funnel the debris and trash and dust into the collector. It's got a little beater brush, so it does go over hardwood floors. We haven't noticed it, scratching or anything like this. These are the 2 charging ports, so when it goes back to the base, it connects there and it charges. This is your on-off button. But let's just take a look at what it's collected from this morning. And this is after it's run every day for the last 5 days. So it collects a lot. And it really gets under areas where you probably aren't vacuuming, like it crawls underneath our dining room table, goes underneath our hutch, which is pretty low to the ground, but as you can see, it's not very high off the ground, so it can get under some, pretty low-lying furniture that, if you've got legs on furniture, it'll crawl under there, and it cleans all the dust that's been building up under there since you can't probably regularly get to it. I'll put this back, and we're going to continue. And here is the remote that comes with it. You see it's got a clock on it because you can set schedules for it to go off and about. And by pressing the keypad, you can manipulate where it goes. So if you see it kind of missing an area because it's random, you can direct it to go. I see it missed a peanut shell, so we'll see how it does. Surprisingly, he got that even though he's riding it. By the way, your dogs will probably hate this thing. Here's another peanut shell that was left behind. I mean, we have 2 hyperallergenic dogs that don't shed, but I can imagine that if you had a larger dog that does shed, it would do a very good job of picking it up. But as you can see from that compartment, it does not hold a ton, and dog hair would quickly fill it up. And when it's run, or when it's done doing its cycle, or the battery gets low, it's going to return home. And you can also press home on the button and it'll head back. Apparently it sends out a signal and it kind of tries to find the signal from wherever it is. Like I just told it to go home, so it powers down and it's going to go try to find its home base. And sometimes it can take it a long time to find the base. It's an exciting, thrilling video, isn't it? But I do like it. I think if I had to do it again, and I was also debating about maybe just returning it anyway because it's only been a week, I probably would go with the E30 just so it would map the room and be more efficient and not miss anything. But so far, I'm impressed with even just randomly vacuuming. It's getting pretty much most of the areas. And it's not that inconvenient to pick up the remote and direct it where you want to go. Even if it maps, I'm sure it's going to miss something and you need to do it. As you see, it's back on the charger and it glows like this, letting you know it's charging. You can see the Wi-Fi is connected, so it's on your home network where you can connect it to Alexa and talk to Alexa and tell her to start vacuuming. But I definitely like it. It's going to save probably us having to do a thorough vacuuming on our own with our old-fashioned vacuum cleaner, which we pretty much do every Saturday or Sunday. I think it'll avoid us having to do that. I'm tempted to get another one for upstairs on the second floor to deal with the bedrooms. But unfortunately, I think our kids have too much stuff on the ground to really make that useful. But anyway, this is the Kyvol E20. It's a robot vacuum and it does a pretty good job. No complaints.